So, first of all, it's all about location, location, location. Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video. I'm extra excited for today's video because in the history of my channel, I have never ever done an apartment tour. And today is the day I'm gonna be doing my first apartment tour. I've lived in this space since January. And actually, I even doubted if I wanted to do an apartment tour because I felt like in my other videos, my vlogs, you guys have probably seen the majority of my apartment because it is quite small. However, I was like, yeah, they've seen the little, you know, shots here and there, but they haven't seen the flow, they haven't seen the layout, and I also think it would be really cool to show you guys the little details and how I make a house a home and how I make it cozy for myself, you know? A little bit about this space before I give you guys like the tour is it's in the 5th arrondissement, so it's in a pretty good area, I'd say. It's really cute. It's kind of got that like old Paris vibes, like when I walk out. You know, it's really beautiful in the street. Is it the best place to go out at night? No. But I love just like strolling the streets, and you know, I'm next to like the gardens, and so it's a pretty safe area, I'd say. About the size, so it's a studio. It's only, you know, y'all know what a studio means, and it's marked it's marked as 14 mètres carrés, which I don't know what that would be in like square feet, but pretty small, just like a room. But I have my doubts actually if it really is 14 mètres carrés, because as you'll see, the ceiling is kind of slanted like this, and so you're not really supposed to count the areas in the room that you're not able to walk in, so you'll see. But so yeah, that's that. And then let's talk about the rent. So the rent is 580 a month, 580 euro a month, and then on top of that I pay like electricity, insurance, so I think in all I pay like 650 everything together, which a lot of my friends and family like in the US, when I tell them how much I pay, they're always so surprised, because I think that a lot of people imagine that Paris, because it is a big city, that it's really expensive. But that's one of the reasons why I also wanted to make this video, because depending on your priorities and what you're looking for in a space, you can actually find a space that is affordable, that you feel good in, and that's what I hope to get across today. So 580 I'd say is like what you can expect to pay as a student or somebody like me who is a jeune active but also has to pay rent on another space, because as you guys know, I'm an artist and I have an art studio. I pay another rent on my art studio space. So all about priorities. So I'm excited to welcome you guys, my friends, into my space, show you guys the layout, the deco, everything, and then after we'll sit down again and I'll talk more like logistics, how I feel, maybe like things that I would have done differently, and just like some tips if you're also looking to move to Paris. So here we go. Here we fucking go. Okay, so this is me walking into my apartment. The door is here, and when you walk in, you just kind of see everything. And I'm directly into the kitchen area. Dancing in my kitchen cause I don't give a fuck. Dancing in my kitchen, dancing in my kitchen, dancing in my kitchen cause I don't give a fuck. So pretty standard. I have a coat rack where I put my keys, a bag, and I'm not allowed to hang anything in this apartment, so I have just sort of, then I just set this little painting on this piece of furniture which kind of hides the trash over here. Oh, and this is really fucking bougie. When I first got my internet installed, the guy's like, well, where do you want to put it? And I was like, well, I guess the only place I'd really put it up is up here. Except for we had like all those wires hanging down. So look at that. I just used my coat to kind of hide that, but whatever. So yeah, directly after we're in the kitchen area. So have, you know, stove, mini fridge. I know a lot of Americans are really shocked by like the size of the refrigerator, but in Paris what you'll find is a lot of people just do their shopping once a day because you can get like fresh produce and things like that. So that's what I do. Over here in the corner I have this cactus that I think is dying. I have a painting that my mom did in the 70s. It's really, really pretty, and it kind of goes with like the theme. I didn't even know I had a theme until I realized like there is sort of like this Texas desert theme going on. And I think because the floors are this really pretty pottery tile, it kind of just goes with it, and the plants and everything like that. I just feel like that's the theme we're going for. I have just like cupboards where I keep my most used dishes, you know, spices, etc. Not super interesting. I also have this frame that I need to, I put this here to remind myself to do a vision board because I've been collecting images for a while, but I really just need to sit down and do it. I got a printer, so I'm ready to do that. And then this is from a subscriber. She sent me this and just makes me so happy. So I put it over here to remind myself to put it on my vision board when I'm ready to do that. So that pretty much sums up l'entrée and the kitchen area. I have, you know, like my pots and pans down here, fridge, and then cupboards. And then up here, I don't know if you can see, but I have just like a bunch of storage space up here to store things, which is really nice. So now we're moving on to this area. This is kind of hilarious for me because I feel like I'm making my very small studio into like this huge tour, but it's really just like there, and there, but whatever. Okay, so we have the kitchen area, and over here is one of the weirder parts of the apartment, but I actually kind of like it. So they actually put the shower up really high, and the shower is just like in this corner over here, so it's kind of hidden when you're over here and just looking. But then it's like, there's a shower. So we even have like some storage there and here. So the landlady was really good about putting like a bunch of storage, which is really nice. And the only thing is like, this is so fucking high up that sometimes when I get down, I'm like scared for my life. I'm like, am I gonna make it? I legitimately thought about taking a shower just so I could get like the shower shot. But I was like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. So this is just me. This is like if I was in the shower. You know? Hello, goodbye. And now it's like, when I have to get out, I feel like I'm about to like jump into a swimming pool or something. I'm like, all right, here we go. Here I am getting out. Holy fuck. Yeah. Actually, what's funny is the landlord was like, there was this older lady that wanted to live here, but she was actually scared about the height of the shower. And I was like, bitch, I'm scared about the height of the shower, so I'm just saying. But, you know, these landlords are making the most of le mètre carré, so. All right, let me show you the rest of the place. So I just want to share this story really quick because one of the things that I like to have in my apartment is like little things that bring me joy or remind me of memories. And I got this sunflower because this is a crazy story, but I just met up with my friend Edwina that you might have seen in like some of my last videos like a year or so ago. She actually moved back to the US, but she used to live in Paris, and we had done a video together about dating. And when she was in the US, she met somebody who had seen my video that she was in and saw her like on a dating app and was like, oh my god, this is so crazy. I saw you in the Purple Palace's video, and now they're like gonna get married. And I guess like you know, he called her Sunflower or something like that. And so I bought this sunflower to remind myself of like destiny, and just I thought that was the most beautiful story. I don't know, it just made my life. So yeah, I like to keep things around me that bring me joy and remind me of destiny. So this is kind of like my editing music area. And I have like my piano and my little like recording setup and stuff. Honestly, this desk is so amazing because it's so big, and I can just like store a lot in there. Down here I have like my chess game and like a little vase, like sort of these little decorations. I think the rest of the vase, it's like half of a hole. It says like kiss me, so I don't know who has the other half because I got it at the thrift store. And then here I just have another little painting, and then behind it I'm hiding my printer. I love this chair because it says c'est l'été, which means it's summertime in French. Over here I just hung up one print that I did called Wild Horse Sleeps Alone. I tried to leave like some white spaces on the wall because, like I said, like I heard that if you cover too much of the wall, it just makes it feel cluttered and like you can't breathe. So another thing that I'm obsessed with and that I really love is this built-in bookcase. I just think it gives an extra bit of charm to the place. And I like to also put like my little paintings and my prints. I have this little card that says Dieu, which means God in French. I wish I had like a better system, but I really don't have my books organized in any sort of way. I have like a mix of French and English books. And I have a really big love for the celebrity memoir, I have to say. Fucking love Diane Keaton. And a lot of film books. I'm really into that. So yeah, this is an area that I would say I spend the majority of my time when I'm home. I just like have everything over there. And then you can kind of see like the shape of the bookcase and the ceiling as well. You can see how it kind of, like what I was talking about earlier, does like a diagonal thing. Down here we moved to probably like my official filming area. We have just like this little cute little chair, little plant, and up here I have like a mantle. I have like some ceramic stuff, my book, a painting, and some fake flowers. I just love these roses. They just add so much character, I feel like. So yeah, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but when I took this apartment, it came furnished. So all the chairs, the tables, everything belongs to the landlord. But that was actually fine with me because I didn't want to have to buy all new shit when I moved out. And yeah, it just made it a lot less expensive as well because I didn't have to worry about like buying new stuff. So there's that. So what I typically do when I'm filming is I have a foldable little table over here, and I will just take it out. You can't really see it, it's like hidden behind the desk, but I'll take it out and I'll put it in front of the fireplace. And I think that that was really something that I considered when I took the apartment. I was like, oh, like even though it's small, there's a lot of cute areas to film in, and I just felt like the fireplace gave it a lot of charm. It's a very, very old fireplace. You can even see like the little details are like these creepy little boys, creepy little sculptures of these boys in the fireplace. So behind that little chair we have like a little bookcase, which is really nice, little bookcase area. Yeah, I really can't reiterate enough how nice it was that the landlord really thought about these little storage areas. So these are all my journals, which are being guarded by Woody over there in the corner, so no one, if anyone tries to come over and read them, he'll get you. This whole area down here, from the bookcase to the wall, she has like this storage space, which is super nice. And what I've learned is if you want your apartment to seem less cluttered, try to do storage space that's hidden. Like, don't have open storage space where you can like see your shit. Like, have it with a door so you can't really see all of your mess, which is really nice. So like all of this down here is storage, which kind of makes up for the fact that over in this area the ceiling is pretty low.
Increasingly sensitive position, so I was essentially.
Quand j'avais à peine 11 ans, rien ne me faisait plus plaisir qu'une longue promenade avec mon chien dans le bois qui cernait le quartier. Quand j'étais petit avec Howie, je l'avais observé en train de peindre. Sa méthode possédait une dimension abstraite et physique qui n'existait pas chez Robert. So on the other side of the wall, opposite of the fireplace, we have my bed. It's a pull-out bed, so actually it's like a twin, and then I can pull it out into a bigger bed, but I don't really do it that often because it's annoying to do. I'm really obsessed with this color red. I honestly searched very long to find this color red. Because I think it just looks really good with the white, and it kind of reminds me of like, you know, new wave cinema, this color red, and I just think it's really pretty. So yeah, I have this wall. Up on this wall up here, this is not the most beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, but I read that Jerry Seinfeld actually, instead of having a calendar that you flip through, he actually wrote out each month on like a piece of paper. And so that way you can see on the wall more clearly your year, and you're not having to like flip through and stuff. I like to give myself gold stars on a day when I did both art and music in that day. So fucking killed it in July. Are you kidding me? August wasn't so great, but I went on vacation, so that's why. Here I think we can see better like the angularness of this wall and why I lose some space in the apartment. But like I said, it's fine because it's kind of made up for with the space at the bottom. Yeah, I just like to sit here and read. Just chill. Fucking chill. Up here, I have the calendar pages that I was kind of explaining to you. I have June, July, August, and yeah, like I said, it's not the most beautiful, but it just helps me to understand better like my month. And up here, I just have like another little area. This is my grandma's. It's a paperweight, little painting that I did at the park. You guys remember. And again, the landlord was smart and had the insight to put the mirror on the armoire, so we saved some space. And then inside, yeah, so when I saw this, I was very nervous. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, so I'm not gonna be able to hang up my clothes? And then I just basically pick out the things that I know that I wear the most. I'll put them in here, and things that I haven't worn in like 6 months, I'll put in like that little storage area that I showed you earlier below the window. Okay, that's it. That's the apartment tour. Okay, so at this point you might be wondering, Shayna, isn't there something missing? Where the fuck is the toilet? So the toilet is actually outside of the apartment in the hallway, which initially when I found this apartment, I was like, ooh, do I really want to share a toilet with strangers? But the guy that was living here before, when I talked to him, he's like, there's really only one other person on the floor, foreshadowing. There's literally only one other person on the floor, and I've never seen the person before, and I was like, okay, well maybe like this could work. Also, in the past, when I've lived in apartments in Paris, they've always been pretty small, and when the toilet is in the room and there is a problem with the toilet and the toilet floods, guess what? All of your shit is covered in toilet water. This actually happened to me, like little story time. This actually happened to me in my first ever chambre de bonne. One day the toilet broke. That's a story time for another day because it was kind of my fault. But anyway, the toilet broke, and I remember coming home from work and the entire apartment was flooded with toilet water, and there was this rug in the middle of the room and it was soaked. It was one of those rugs that was like tissé, like it had, anyway, it was a really thick rug, like furry, and it just like soaked in all this water, and all of my clothes were ruined. Like I had kept my journals on the floor, so my journals were like covered in toilet water. So then I didn't know what to do. I was also on the last floor, so guess what I had to do? I had to roll up that toilet water carpet, and I had to drag it downstairs on the 7th floor and put it in the trash, and it was so fucking heavy because it was soaked in toilet water. So I was like, maybe toilets in the hallway are a thing of the future. Like maybe this is the way to go. And so yeah, I can show you guys really quick. It's literally just on the hall, and a toilet, you open the door and there's a toilet. And I'm gonna talk to you guys more like about pros and cons as well. But first, before we get into the rest of the video, I want to thank today's video sponsor, which is Lingoda. So for those of you guys who don't know, Lingoda is an online language school with classes in English, Spanish, German, French, just to name a few. As I've worked with Lingoda for a while, and this is a bilingual channel where I do videos in like French and English, I know a lot of you guys are interested in learning French as well, and I've been able to follow your guys' journey when you have tried out Lingoda and the Sprint. And I think that from hearing from you guys, what really works is the fact that you get to speak with native qualified teachers, and when you're really getting that practice speaking around subjects that you're actually interested in, whether it's art, philosophy, etc., and you get to really choose those classes and keep up with them, it really motivates you. So right now they're running a promotion, which is the Sprint. So you can either choose the Sprint, which is 15 classes a month for 3 months in a row, and if you complete that you get a 50% cashback refund, or you can do the Super Sprint if you're really motivated to get fluent fast, which is taking 30 classes a month for 3 months in a row. And if you complete that, you get a 100% cashback refund. So if you guys do want to improve your language skills, sign up for the next Sprint is until October 8th, and the Sprint starts on October 31st. You have to pay a 49 euro deposit, but if you use this code, you get 20 euros off that deposit. Thank you so much to Lingoda, and let's get back to our video. So yeah, back to the toilets. It really didn't bother me the fact that the toilet was on the outside, because like I said, like I'm not, actually I don't even know if I said this, but I'm not really home a lot, and so I'm at my art studio most of the time, so I'd really only be using it really early in the morning and then quite late at night. And I have PTSD from carrying this pee-filled rug down my stairs in my last apartment. It only really becomes an issue if like the other people aren't cleaning it, or if you have problems with your neighbor. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I had like major neighbor drama. I don't want to go into it. I don't care. I don't want to talk about it. My neighbor like would smoke in the hallway like next to my room, and she was like super aggressive, and she would just like always leave the toilets in like a nasty state. Luckily she's gone as far as I know, but that's one of the things that maybe if I could do it again, I would, you know, maybe make it more of a priority to find a place with a toilet. Like the next place I'm gonna find, I think I'll probably, you know, that's probably gonna be something that I think about. But hopefully the next apartment that I find will be my own. Like that's a really big goal of mine, and one of the reasons why I was down to pay lower rent is because I was like, well, whatever you don't pay in rent, you get to set aside to maybe like do like a down payment on an apartment, you know what I mean? So this brings me to my next point, which is priorities. You know, I think that there is such a pressure in our day and age, in our society, to, you know, keep up with the Joneses and, you know, to be able to impress our friends or things like that. And I can still invite people over here. Like, I've had people over for Christmas dinner. Sure, it's a tight squeeze, but you just have to really like your friends, you know? But I had to be honest with myself and be like, so what are your priorities? I knew that in the rent for my art studio and in the rent for my studio that I'm living in, that I didn't want to pay over like $1,000 or, you know, like $950 to $1,000. So, you know, I told myself, like, I'm used to living in small spaces. I really like the energy in this space, and even though it's like smaller than I initially set out for, it would allow me to have a bigger working space, and that's why I'm able to have my studio at the convent, which is beautiful, and I'm so happy that I have that space. So I think that it's really taught me to like ask myself, like, what do you want? Like, who gives a fuck about, like, you know, what this other YouTuber has? Like YouTuber comparison, like, who cares about that? You know, like, who cares, you know, that you don't have a toilet in the room, you know? What matters is what makes you happy. And a really great piece of advice that my dad gave me, I don't even think that he knew he was giving me advice, but I just like soaked up everything when I was growing up. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, you know, it's better to pay less in rent or in a mortgage and have money to live than to feel like, yeah, you have like this beautiful place but you don't even have like money to go out with friends, you know? And so that's always stuck with me, that I'd rather just like pay a lower rent and be able to have a really full social life and be able to save money, you know what I mean? So thanks, Dad. And also, I feel like it was easier for me to make this decision because this ain't my first rodeo. I've lived in many different apartments. I've lived in an apartment when I was in university, like the first 2 years of university, with 5 other girls. I've lived in like a house, like a big house in Winter Park in Orlando. Not in Orlando, in Winter Park in Florida. That was infested with termites, but it was really cute. It was like a little cottage. And I've lived in my last apartment with my ex, like it was almost as small as this, and we were 2 in that apartment. So I kind of knew what I could and couldn't do, and I like made a list of my priorities and what was like non-negotiables for me. Like, I wanted to be in Paris, I wanted to be in an area that I felt good in, I wanted it to be calm as fuck, and now that I'm the only one living on this floor, it truly is. I wanted a place that when I walked in, like, I felt like calm, zen, like bungalow vibes. And a part of that is obviously what you bring to the space, but another part of it is just the energy. Like, when you walk into a space, like, you know. And I feel like I told this in like my video. I actually made another video where I talk all about how I found my apartment and like the process, because I know that can be very daunting for a lot of people looking for a space, especially if you're a foreigner like me. So if you guys want to watch that, you can as well. But the lady who owns this place, she's a writer, and so she told me like she would never live in a space that she couldn't see herself actually living in. I don't know if that's like just like selling me the place, but I really did feel that, like, you know, with the built-in storage and just, you know, the cute little charm, and it's simple, but it does the job, you know. And so I was able to make that list of things that were really non-negotiables for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to add. I guess what I would want to say is, you know, in your 20s, there's this pressure, like I said, to keep up with other people and to be able to impress and things like that, but you're the only one that is going to be living your life. you know, like you're the one that has to come home to this space. Like you're the one that has to, like, imagine you come to Paris and you want to pay like a rent that's like 1,500 and you can barely afford that, but then like your friends invite you out and you're like, I can't because like I pay my rent, you know. Like you have to be the one at the end of the day that decides what's important to you. And I hope that this can maybe even shed some light that if you thought that Paris was a really expensive city before, y'all are like, shut the fuck up, Shayna. You have an apartment that doesn't even have a toilet in it. You're like, don't act like this is like cheap. I mean, okay, sure. Maybe it's not cheap like if you're living in the countryside, but I think for a city, having a small place like this is pretty affordable. Like obviously you have to get lucky with your neighbors and things like that, but it's pretty affordable and doable if you're somebody that is younger and you know, a student, doesn't have like a lot of money and you want to move abroad. This is something that you could definitely do, and I don't want you to feel held back because you're like, I don't know how I do it, you know. Honestly, when I was living in the US, like the rent that I paid over there was more expensive than what I pay here. And albeit I did have a toilet in the room, so but the house was infested with termites, so there's always something. No place is perfect, right? So yeah, I think that I'll probably stay in this space for like another year and a half, I don't know. Because as well, I got really lucky because it's right next to my art studio, so I could just walk there every day. The next place that I am manifesting is gonna have a balcony. Excuse me. It's definitely gonna have a balcony. And I think that, like I said, like as I'm getting into my later 20s, I'm looking to, you know, save so that I can, you know, actually be like an owner. That would be a dream of mine, you know, so that's what's up. So, queen of dragging out the video, but I would love to hear from you guys if where you live in the world, what is the medium rent for like a studio, whether you're in New York, whether you're in the countryside, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. I'd also, yeah, especially if you guys live in big cities, like if you guys live in Amsterdam or London, what do y'all pay and what are your non-negotiables in an apartment? I think that would be really fun to hear from you. I'd also love to hear if you guys would like more videos, more financial related videos. Don't get me wrong, this isn't gonna be like the financial diet or anything like that. Like I'm not going in that direction, but maybe you guys would like to see like what I spend in a week, because I feel like a lot of people, when I watch those, like what you spend in the week, I'm like, holy fuck, y'all are spending a lot of money. I feel like I don't spend that much money, and so it might be interesting for people who are also frugal, you know, on a budget, trying to save for the future. It might be interesting for you guys, so let me know if that was something that you want to see. Thank you so much for coming into my home. And I hope that you guys enjoyed getting to see a little bit more of my universe. And yeah, okay. The next video that I'm gonna be doing is a Q&A. So if you want, follow me on Instagram if you wanna be a part of that. Actually, probably already filmed it, but follow me on Instagram anyway if you want to keep up with what I'm doing. As well as I have a book that I published, a poetry book, and Patreon, where I do podcast episodes, we do Paris meetups, etc, 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 etc. Okay, so yeah, this video is probably crazy long, but I just wanted to say I fucking love you. Thank you guys for being my friends. As you guys can tell, I'm feeling like very good lately, and I think a lot of it is because of you. Like I just felt so supported during these last few months, and y'all are just the best. So if you made it to the end, leave me a comment that says, just leave me a comment with what I said earlier, like where you live in the world and what you would say is like an average rent, what you pay in rent maybe. Like I'd love to hear that. Yeah, what you guys pay in rent. Okay, anyway, I love you. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope that you guys have a really beautiful and blessed week. Bye.